You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Good morning, good morning. We talk the whole night through. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's so funny, man. Every time it makes me laugh. So,
Yeah.
what did I tell you to sing good morning yesterday for?
Oh, we were sending out a video to remind
we were getting ready
people
to video, yeah.
Yeah. So Heritage Church is busting at the seams. That's a really good thing.
Yeah.
So we were creating a video to tell people to, or ask people to consider going, making some room.
Either going to our Stony Creek service or go to the the 8:30 service or go to the 1 o'clock service, because the
use
two in the middle
overflow.
are totally packed, or go to the overflow.
Yeah.
And we were thinking nobody wants to listen to this video,
Right.
and so then that's when I said, hey, you should sing good morning. Everybody will listen to that video then.
No, they will not. That's funny. Well, hey, it is a good morning.
Okay, yeah. Well,
and
hey, this is one of our favorite segments.
Yes, it is. We love this segment.
Yeah.
I think I love Would You Rather and One Must Go.
And the one must go is what we have. And so you're choosing which one stays and which one goes away forever.
And it means for the world.
Forever.
For the world.
Forever. Yes, for the whole world.
It's not just for us.
People cannot have one or the other.
You want to do it with a different context? You want to do it just for us?
Just for us?
Yeah. So in other words...
Like if I make the decision, then you also don't get it?
Correct. No.
Okay.
No, like
just for us individually.
Yeah, just like whatever you would do.
Okay.
And it affects nobody else except for you.
Okay.
That's kind of boring, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, forget it. That's a bad idea.
It's for everybody.
It has to be for everybody.
It has to be for everybody.
Because as soon as I thought about it, I thought, who cares?
Okay. I've got it for you.
Because the first one is garlic or pickles. And it's like, who cares?
Yeah. Well, I do.
Well, yeah. But
I'm a cooker.
Cares.
I'm a cook.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a big difference between garlic and pickles.
All right, here we go. The first one, Jeff, for the world. Which one goes forever? Which one goes away forever? Pickles or garlic?
Okay, so my daughter lives for dill pickles.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know that I've ever met anybody who eats more dill pickles than my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. But I love you, Jenna.
Yeah.
But I have to choose. Pickles are the ones who go away forever.
Yeah, because garlic is essential.
Garlic is so important.
It is so important.
Yeah. It's because I love steak.
Right.
You got to have garlic. So I got a sous vide for Christmas. Do you know what sous vide is?
I do not.
Okay, so very quickly, it's a machine. You stick it in a tub of water. Then you vacuum seal whatever it is you're cooking with all the spices and stuff in it. Stick it in the water, and it takes it to the exact temperature, and you can't overcook it. Then you just take it out of that bag, put it on the grill, sear on both sides, and it's perfectly cooked. But because it's pressure sealed in the thing, it just pulls all the flavors in really strong. So I made, I just got a bunch of Delmonico's. Those are like the sweet spots of the ribeyes, right?
Yeah.
So I got some Delmonico steaks, and I put salt, pepper rub on it, and then I chopped up garlic and put it on top. Put some thyme on top of that with a little bit of butter, and sealed it like that, and it just pulled all that garlicky flavor into that meat. I'm telling you, it was so good. So it's with that being so good,
it's vacuum sealed in water, so the water is the temperature that cooks it.
Yeah.
But
so if you set the water, right, because it's inside the bag. So if you set the water at 130, your meat never is going to go over 130. You can't overcook it. It just gets more and more and more tender. And then
you could leave it in there for a long time.
Oh, I'd put it in there for 4 hours if I want to. I could start it this morning and get back at lunchtime, and it'd be fall apart tender. And then I just take it out, put it on the grill, both sides, sear it, so you get that Maillard reaction, with the sear on it, and it's good to go. It's phenomenal. Yeah. So you have to have garlic, is what I'm trying to say, not pickles.
Wait a minute. You're trying to say that continued exposure on a piece of meat at a certain temperature, 130, will never continue to cook that meat?
It can't. It's stuck at 130.
So 130 over prolonged time
stays at 130.
Stays at 130.
Yeah, it never overcooks.
So
it'll just get more and more tender.
So the meat.
Did I just blow your mind, Chris?
Because apparently I don't understand cooking.
This is why all the great steak houses have better steaks than your house. That's why.
Well, guess what? I don't cook.
Yeah, but that's why steakhouses do it. It's because they've been doing sous vide for 20 years, and it's only come into customer. the mainstream for maybe the last 10. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So anyways, so I have to say garlic over. I'm going to keep garlic and get rid of pickles forever. I love my daughter, but.
And I agree with you too. I say
You're gonna keep the garlic?
I say keep garlic because the world needs it, and nobody technically really needs pickles.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I need pickles too, but not that.
I mean, I like pickles.
Okay, we got to keep moving now. We're getting behind.
Candy corn or Jawbreakers?
That's no brainer. Candy corn. Get rid of candy.
Goes away.
Yeah, get rid of candy corn.
Yeah, I agree too.
Okay.
Candy corn.
Yes.
Let me help you to finish it.
I don't know.
It's Bug's Life.
Oh, okay.
All right, number 3. Walkmans or pagers?
Both. Both. I vote both.
It was the speed in which you responded. I say pagers go away.
Okay.
Although pagers do serve a purpose, though. Walkmans are just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Walkmans go away.
Okay.
Good. Number 4, fanny packs or Crocs? I already know the answer to
Fanny
this.
packs.
No, Crocs go away.
Oh, wow. We disagree.
I hate Crocs.
Okay. They're comfortable.
Yeah, but people who wear them are not my friends.
They can't go to heaven.
Yeah, they cannot go to heaven.
Okay, there's a ban on Crocs in heaven.
Especially Crocs with socks.
Okay, yes.
If you wear Crocs with socks, chances are I do not like you as a person.
Okay.
All right? And if you don't like The Office.
Yes.
If you don't like The Office, chances are I don't get along with you.
Okay. Those are the two?
Those are the two.
Yep. Can't be friends.
Okay. Last one. Boy, you're really wanting to burn through this, aren't you?
Well, we're at 6 minutes and 36 seconds.
Okay. Number 5. Voldemort or Darth Vader? Which one goes away?
I think that's a no-brainer,
From
too.
history.
That's a no-brainer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. As far as Voldemort.
Because
he can be defeated by a kid.
Oh, wow.
Darth Vader blows up planets.
Okay.
Voldemort threatens to do bad stuff.
Right, and then doesn't really do anything.
He never actually pulls it off.
For 7 books, he doesn't really do much.
Right. He doesn't really do much. He's a scary guy, but he doesn't actually do anything. And then he's defeated by a kid.
Well, he's a kid. He's really defeated by himself.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, Darth
Vader's way worser.
Yeah, he's way worser and has a way better storyline.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's not as creepy.
That's right.
Not as wizardy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think they're just better stories.
Yeah, I agree.
Better.
I agree. All right. Well, hey, wow, riveting.
We solved it.
Riveting.
Solved it.
We have
People were so worried about that, and now they're going to have peace the rest of the day.
If you don't agree with us, then comment.
Find a better podcast.
If you don't agree with us, leave this podcast.
Stop listening now.
And go find another one.
That's right.
That's so funny. All right, Jeff, we need to move on. 1 Kings chapter 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Speaking of one must go, they're burning through kings like flies.
That's an awesome transition. Well, so there's Jeroboam we know about.
Yes.
Jeroboam's reign lasts 22 years.
Yes.
Then Nadab, he only lasts 2 years because Baasha kills him.
Yeah, Baasha kills him.
Then Baasha's 24 years.
And by the way, you're listing the kings of Israel.
That's right, of Israel. So Jeroboam and Baasha, they team up for 46 years. But then...
And this is the northern section.
But then they go, Zimri. Elah lasts 2 years, gets killed. Zimri lasts 7 days because he's the one who kills Elah. And then Zimri commits suicide. He burns a building down on top of himself. Tibni then is the king for 4 years. He gets so let's pick up with Tibni. You want to?
Yeah, I do want to.
It's just 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 21 says, "But now the people of Israel split into 2 factions. Half the people tried to make Tibni, son of Gibnath, their king, while the other half supported Omri. But Omri's supporters defeated the supporters of Tibni, so Tibni was killed, and Omri became the next king."
Wow.
There you go. So it just lasts a little while. They fight for about 4 years or so, where they're in this civil war. Then it says, Omri began to rule over Israel in the 31st year of King Asa's reign in Judah. He reigned 12 years in all, 6 of them in Tirzah. When Omri bought the hill known as Samaria from its owner, Shemer, for 150 pounds of silver. He built a city on it and called the city Samaria in honor of Shemer. But Omri did what was evil in the Lord's sight, even more than any of the kings before him. He followed the example of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and all the sins he had committed and led Israel to commit. The people provoked the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, with their worthless idols. The rest of the events of Omri's reign, the extent of his power, and everything he did are recorded in the book of the history of the kings of Israel. When Omri died, he was buried in Samaria. Then his son Ahab became the next king. Dun, dun, dun. Talking about Darth Vader.
Right.
Right? Ahab is like the Darth Vader of the Old Testament.
Right.
Ahab, son of Omri, began to rule over Israel in the 38th year of King Asa's reign in Judah. He reigned in Samaria 22 years. But Ahab, son of Omri, did what was evil in the Lord's sight, even more than any of the kings before him.
Yeah, no doubt.
And as though it were not enough to follow the example of Jeroboam, he married Jezebel, the daughter of King Ethbaal of the Sidonians, and he began to bow down in worship of Baal. First, Ahab built a temple and an altar for Baal in Samaria, and then he set up an Asherah pole. He did more to provoke the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, than any of the other kings of Israel before him. It was during his reign that Hiel, a man from Bethel, rebuilt Jericho. When he laid its foundations, it cost him the life of his oldest son, Abiram. And when he completed it and set up its gates, it cost him the life of his youngest son, Segub. This all happened according to the message from the Lord concerning Jericho spoken by Joshua, son of Nun.
Holy Christmas.
Wow. Do you remember?
There was a lot in there.
Yeah. You remember? Well, let's cover that part first. You know, after Jericho fell under Joshua's leadership, there was a curse that whoever rebuilt Jericho, that Jericho should never be rebuilt again, but whoever rebuilt it would have deadly costs in their family. And that's what happened there.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And
it was, a couple hundred years later.
Yeah. Yeah, so you immediately burn through these kings, right? So, like I said, falling
Tibni,
like flies.
Omri. Yep.
Yeah, Elah, Zimri, Tibni, Omri, and Omri lasted 12 years.
Yeah.
And I love how what it does in the Bible. And there's a little chart, by the way, in our Life Application Study Bible that sort of gives you a timeline. And you'll notice that the kings of Judah are only 3 kings.
Yeah.
Judah only had Rehoboam. And then
Abijah.
I never know how to pronounce that guy's name. Yeah. And Abijah only lasted 3 years.
Right.
And then Asa lasted 41 years. Right?
Right.
And so it's like, that's it. 3 kings. That's it. And then meanwhile, the northern portion of all the other tribes burns through all these different kings. And there's these rebellions and all these different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 kings compared to the 3.
That's right.
So woo, there's a lot going on in the north.
So Rehoboam was partially following God.
Yeah.
Right. And he had moments where he pointed people to God.
Yes.
But he was trying to blend the 2 religions. It didn't work. Right. Abijah
created his own religion.
Well, not Jeroboam. Not Rehoboam. That was Jeroboam.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So Rehoboam is Solomon's son.
Yes.
And he just kind of did what his dad did.
I should have just looked at the chart here.
Yeah. But then Abijah did the wrong thing. And so his term was short. And then Asa was a good king all the way up to the very end of his career. He was a good king. And he pointed the people towards God, and he was always faithful to follow God. And so you see God gave him a very long reign during that time.
Yeah, which is
great.
The
people prospered. But when there is no God-centered morality in a country, these kings are assassinating each other.
Right.
They're wiping each other out. They're taking advantage. The people are in civil war. It's just this horrible time in northern Israel. But in Judah, there was a lot of peace and prosperity during that time because Rehoboam mostly followed the Lord, and Asa did faithfully follow God. And so those two, it lasted a long time.
Hey, I like the fact that in Omri's reign, he only reigned for 12 years. And when he reigned, it says he bought a plot of land that he named Samaria for 150 pounds of silver. 150 pounds is pretty good.
Yeah, seems like it.
Pretty good amount. A little bit of money. Pretty good amount of silver.
I wonder how much it would be worth today.
Yeah, try it.
I'll ask.
And then he said he built a city and called it Samaria. So here it is. We see the beginnings of, it's very famous. The woman at the well was in Samaria, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because Jesus said, I have needs to go through Samaria.
Right.
And he meets her at the well. And so it's a very famous story. So here it is, the beginnings.
Yeah.
And he built this city and he was buried in it.
Yeah, a lot of things happened in Samaria. It's pretty, but it's $54,576.
What?
He bought the whole hill for $54,576 in today's money.
Oh, that's not a lot at all.
Doesn't seem like it.
No, that must have been a pretty desolate piece of land.
Yeah.
You kidding me, sucker? Nothing can grow there. You can't raise sheep on that thing.
This place is horrible.
Yeah.
I'll give you $54,000.
That's right. He just bought a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he built a hill there, Samaria.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things happen there. Eventually, there's a lot of attention because this becomes a key spot in northern Israel, and it also represents false worship at that point, right?
Yeah.
So, but then you have Ahab enter the scene.
Right.
And it just gets worse from here.
Yeah, King Ahab.
Right, for the next couple weeks.
Has to go hunt his whale.
That's right. Well, no, wrong story.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was Captain Ahab.
That's not the one? Oh, okay,
Ahab.
I see.
Yeah, but King Ahab, this is the beginning of a couple weeks of just, are you serious?
Yeah.
Israel just, and then not only is it bad, Ahab shows up. Ahab marries Jezebel.
Yeah, and she's worse than him.
Yeah, I can remember my dad. We had an old car. It was an old, man, it looked like a Chevy Nova. I forget the other. There was another one like it, a Pontiac that was just like it. Anyways, my dad, it was green. My dad used to call it Jezebel.
Oh,
because it was difficult. It was a problem.
Was it an Opal?
Nope.
Huh.
But anyways, yeah, I used to call it Jezebel, and just bad. She just bad all the time, and just always mad at this
vehicle.
Yep. So this is the
Jezebel is a term that is used in that way.
Yeah. Well, she was a wicked woman. Yeah. Ahab was bad.
Yeah.
She was bad with a capital B bad.
Right. Yeah, he's the Darth Vader and she's the Emperor.
Yeah, she is bad news. So the two of them are ready to lead the people of Israel into just all kinds of wickedness, quite honestly. So.
Yeah. And so here's the example of Ahab coming in and unapologetically deciding to abandon God's ways.
Right.
Have you ever met somebody who they just go out of their way to defy and almost seem to dare? There's a certain comedian, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he goes out of his way publicly to talk about atheism. And he goes out of his way to defy the logic of all Christians and laughs at them publicly. And sometimes I wonder about that. Kind of
mocks God.
Yeah, kind of mocks God publicly. And I sort of wonder about that. And I think this person's a funny person. And I sort of like him in his acting. But I wonder about it's like, dude, be careful. Be careful what you say.
Yeah. It's
one thing to have doubts. It's one thing to, say, hey, I'm not sure I believe. And, just to remain having a posture of humility. But it's saying, no, it's almost like shaking his fist saying, like, I'm going to make fun of anybody who believes this. And I defy the false God that you believe in. And that's sort of what he does.
Yeah. Wow.
And I always wonder about it. I always wonder, like, good gravy, like, be really careful, buddy. Yeah. But that's what Ahab's doing. He is from day one. He is publicly declaring, like, I am defying the history of anything that our country has ever had to do with God. And I'm immediately worshiping Baal. I'm making it publicly declare. As we all know, this is where Elijah is going to come in, right?
Yep. He's getting ready to show up.
Elijah's going to come in and defeat all the prophets of Baal. But this is the birthplace of all of this. And so Ahab is just, I can even imagine being in a place where it feels totally dark.
So you can see in this contrast between the northern kingdom, Israel, that has so many wicked kings. Like, there's not a redeemable king among them.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, are you serious, dude? It's just every one of them rebels against God, does horrible things. And then you've got the other side, Asa being the best of them.
Yeah.
But God gives prosperity and success and relative peace and long term. There's only 3 kings during that time, 2 of whom had long careers. And God just gives stability. And so you find people leaving their trashed country and wanting to move down into to Judah because they see the prosperity, but they just don't understand where the prosperity came from. And, I think nations do that sometimes where, nations rise up. They're like I think the U.S. was, built on biblical Judeo-Christian ethic and a trust in God. And we understood where our strength came from. And then we forget over time. And we begin to fade, and we think it's because of our money. We think it's because of our successes. We begin to take credit for our own victories. We begin to, all these things, and we begin to fade and slip away from it. And next thing you know, society begins to break down. There's all kinds of fear. There's all kinds of degradation. It happens country after country, ruler after ruler. There's good kings and bad kings. And what you pray for is that God gives good rulers, because Solomon says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Right?
Yeah.
And when we have good godly rulers, there's a lot of stability. And this is what you see, even in that timeline that we have there on the page in front of us. You see this stability and prosperity among the kings that were honoring God. And so then the people tend to follow their kings. Hey, my king is following God. I'm going to, follow God too. But then you find these other 8 guys, they're just a mess. And then Ahab shows up on the scene, and the Bible just goes out of its way to say, and he's by far the worst of them. That's right. He's worse than all of the others combined.
Yeah, it says it twice.
Right.
It says that he has gone out of his way to do worse. What does it say? To do things to make God angry.
Right.
Right. So it isn't just he's done worse things. It is he has done more actions that have made God angry than all the other kings combined.
Right.
So it's a statement about God's opinion toward Ahab.
Well, it was interesting. I was going to comment on it, forgot yesterday when I got distracted, but it talked about how the Lord's anger was stirred by the people. It's not like God's just walking around angry all the time.
Right.
It's finally the people just keep pushing and pushing and pushing against God. There's a limit to your patience.
Yeah.
Right? There is. I mean, you can be in a good mood, you can be paid, but eventually somebody just keep pushing you. And so that's what it talks about is it's the people. God is slow to anger is what the Bible says. It doesn't say God never gets angry. He's slow to anger, but the people just keep pushing his buttons, and they're doing it through horrific evil. We kind of blow past it. The worship of Baal sometimes included horrific sacrifices, right? Horrible things. They literally, in one of the passages we read over the last couple of days, you had temple prostitution, both male and female, and they were the priests, right? In their religions, there was all kinds of. We know some of the other gods and goddesses required human sacrifice, for crying out loud. It was horrible, horrible stuff. And then the Asherah poles we've already talked about. Those are phallic symbols and all the worship that goes along with that kind of stuff. It was just all evil, and as the Bible says, that's what stirred God's anger.
Yeah,
it's come on. I've given you these opportunities. I chose your kings. I've given you all kinds of opportunities, and you still keep choosing to go and pursue all these evil things. And there was a note about the appeal of idols, talking about how idols give us, people go to idols for power. They're looking for the magic of it. They go for pleasure. There's a tremendous amount of sensuality in idol worship around the world still. Passion. Right? The idea that humanity is really reduced just down to an almost animalistic level. We just do whatever we want to do, just please ourselves all the time.
Right.
And then praise and popularity. People want that power, pleasure, and passion. And so then they're like, yeah, way to go, king. Give me that. And the kings are willing to trade the integrity of the nation for more of their own power. And so that's what they do. And so that's what you get in northern Israel versus the godly kings of Judah at the time. And the destruction in the north versus the success and prosperity in the south is a stark difference.
Yeah. Wow. Well, hey, that's where we are now. And so hopefully we will pick up this story tomorrow, and you'll be joining us on the Bible Guys.